There is a box sitting in a frozen field in southwest France, and nobody put it there. It is 4 in the morning in Villeneuve-sur-Lot, and Marcel Renault, a 43-year-old wheat farmer, is already knee-deep in a drainage ditch that flooded again last night. The wheat doesn't care about the war, the frost doesn't care about the occupation, so neither does he. Because working is the only thing that still makes sense. Outside the field, nothing makes sense anymore. German boots on the cobblestones have become the sound of Villeneuve-sur-Lot. Every morning without fail, the patrols moving through the main road, past the bakery and the church. He does not look up. He does not look toward the road. Looking up is how you become interesting to people you do not want to be interesting to. He is still clearing the ditch, hands raw from the frost, when his boot catches something hard in the mud. A small wax-coated box, sealed and unmarked, sitting in the frozen mud like it fell from the sky. Because it did. He peels back the wax seal and opens it to find a sheet of paper with no words, just drawings. 12 simple panels showing a hand holding something small, pointing it at a figure, pulling a trigger, then reaching down to pick up a much larger weapon from the ground. A man who has never fired a gun in his life understands immediately what this is asking him to do. He pulls out a strange little lump of stamped metal, a wooden stick, and 10 bullets. He has no idea that 1 million of these boxes exist. No idea it was made by a lightbulb factory in Indiana. No idea it cost the American government $2.10. That idea, that single, strange $2 idea, is what this story is about. Before we continue, I'd like to let you know that these videos are made with weeks of scripting, months of animating, and decades of rendering. We basically live off burgers and Coke. So if you think the video is worth a like, it would bring a smile to our animator's face. With that said, let's get back to the video. In 1942, General Motors Guide Lamp Division, the people who normally made headlights, assembled 1 million single-shot pistols in 11 weeks, using 300 workers. Each gun had 23 parts, an unrifled 4-inch barrel, and took 6.6 seconds to manufacture. This is not a mag, and in order to fire the Liberator pistol, you pull back the zinc cocking knob at the rear, twist it 90 degrees to open the breech, lift the rear sight, which doubles as the breech block cover, drop a single round in by hand, push it back down, rotate the knob into position, and pull the trigger. The same cartridge as the legendary Colt M1911 pistol, fired through a 4-inch unrifled tube. One shot. Then comes the fun part. There is no extractor. The only way to clear the spent casing is to poke it out from the front of the barrel with a stick. The gun actually came with a wooden dowel for exactly this purpose. This is the only weapon in history that took longer to reload than it took to manufacture. It cost $2.10. They called it the Woolworth pistol. The plan was simple. Drop them from aircraft across occupied Europe. A resistance fighter picks one up, walks up to an enemy soldier, fires at fewer than 10 feet, takes the soldier's real weapon, and disappears. The Liberator was never the weapon. It was the key to the weapon. But the deeper strategy was psychological. The moment enemy command knew these guns existed in civilian hands, every baker, every schoolteacher, every old man on the street became a threat. The soldier would never know who was armed. That paranoia was worth more than the gun itself. In the end, most of the million were never used. Eisenhower thought dropping them was a waste of aircraft. The OSS preferred better weapons. Over 600,000 were dumped into the ocean off England's coast when the war ended. How many soldiers it killed will never be known. The people who used it were not filing paperwork. The ones that survived are now collector's items, worth between $1,750 and $4,000. A gun that cost $2.10, made by a lightbulb factory, issued with comic strip instructions, is now worth more than most people's monthly rent. Liberation, it turns out, appreciates nicely over time. And somewhere in a wheat field in southwest France, under 80 years of frost and soil, there is almost certainly still a wax-coated cardboard box that nobody ever found.